Okay, this is another simple but layered card. It's just really pretty when you put all the colors together and make use of that pretty paper, designer series paper. So just check and make sure that you don't have any seagulls or anything else stuck in there accidentally. So always give it a try. Alright, and we're just going to fold our cardstock in half. So that's our end result. This is what we're working toward. I just line up the edges, right? If you want to use a bone folder to crease those edges on the bottom, you can. I don't, but it doesn't mean you can't, right? So again, we're going to start off with layers. First thing we'll do is we're going to put this piece down here. It's Night of Navy. And we're just going to put it down with glue. And then we're going to make the next panel and put it down with dimensionals. Trying to think about a compass. You know, this thing in Secret Sea is like a darker version of Night of Navy. But I'm probably calling this is Night of Navy. Just put it on just like this. Okay? Alright, then we can put this panel together. So this is just, we're just putting this right on here for our next panel layer. And then we're going to put this on with dimensionals. This is pretty back here too. Our next card after this will use these colors to make a beautiful card. Some very vibrant colors, right? And it so reminds you of the beach. It reminds me of the beach. If you haven't been to the beach, go look online or go to the beach yourself. Alright, so this is just going to be put right on top of here with dimensionals. So I'm not doing any wrapping or anything else. The only thing I'm going to be doing is some trimming here in a minute on the next pieces and components. So as a result, I'm not going to put this down yet. I'm going to at least put it here in the center so it's ready to go. Just in case I had something else going on that I wasn't thinking of. Alright, so it's going to go just like this right here. Okay? Alright. So we're going to do a little trimming here, and I'm going to put my seagulls up here so I can see them. Right? Those are seagulls. So when you die cut these all come out together. That's why you have to always look for this one, because it, like I said, does look like a piece of trash. Alright, so this here I am going to, it's going to come across just like this right here. And what I did is that when I die cut this, as I showed you before, is it cuts out in a square, and all the inner stuff it die cuts out, right? This here too. So I just needed this piece, so I just cut this piece. And I just made sure I cut the house and the lighthouse. I wanted to make sure it was here because this is what's going to guide us to glue this on right here. And put this here, and then we're just going to put this on with dimensionals just right this, like this here. Now if you wanted to add any, if you wanted to darken any of the paper, you can, right? It's just like we did before. You could sit there and take a, I didn't do that, but you could if you wanted to. You could take it and darken it with sponge dauber with some Night of Navy. Because it just depends where you cut your DSP, right? In this particular case, this one looks lighter than the one in my example, but it's just wherever you cut the DSP, because part of the DSP's got more white on it, and the other part of it's got more dark on it. So it just depends on when you sit there and die cut where it lands, right? With how light or dark it's going to be. But you can alter that, right? So right now, if I put this down, it's going to look just like this right here. If I wanted it darker, then I would just go and darken it with, so like I said, some Night of Navy. But I'm going to be okay with this, and I'm going to sit there and put this on with dimensionals. So this is going actually on dimensional. See how purple this is in the background? That would have been a nice color too. You see how well the paper matches front and back, right? So it's so easy to combine these different components to make a beautiful card. And then I'm going to put one right here behind. Now see, I'm going to trim this one off. So I'm going to get this right here as close as I can to the edge of the window, like that. And then I'm going to just trim it off with my paper snips. You could use the smaller dimensionals. I just went ahead and used that since I'm using this already. Or you could even do the edge around the thing. The dimensionals, the outer edge, you can use that too, right? Alright, we'll get this going. So all I have to do with this is I'm just going to make sure it goes edge to edge. So you decide how far up in the sky you want it to go. We're just going to make sure it's, like I said, it's edge to edge. So I'm going to just sort of earmark it like I did the original one. A little bit there. Get off there. Oops. Gently, right? So I know if I gently tug on this down here, because I didn't put any pressure, it just sort of fell down on its own. So see how I'm just going to gently pull that up, and I did that, and I'm going to put this down now. So my edge just to match, right? This is going to be covered, this is not. Alright? So you can go ahead and put this on now, and get the seagulls off. Keep them handy. And I'll go ahead and get this on. Sorry about that. Because Heaven's live. Okay. That was turned on. Alright, just going to go ahead and get this here. Alright, and so this here, I'm just going to put it on right here. Right like this. Now it looks like I got it on dimensionals, but I don't. It's because I've got it right there. So if you look at the side of this here, you can see there's no dimensionals. Now the top part tag I put on top with dimensionals, but I did not sit there and put this itself on there. So I just put a little glue back here, and we'll put it down, and then we'll do the tag. And I just did this around the center, right? Because that helps that 3D look. Just a few little dots there in the center. Up there. Alright, then I'm going to sit there, and we're going to stamp this with some ink here. And then we're going to fussy cut around it. And then we'll get our seagulls on. That's all right. Yes, okay. So it says the adventure continues. I'm going to stick with that, right? Because it continues. Life is an adventure. It doesn't matter if it's your birthday, retirement, congratulations for a new job. It's a new adventure, right? Like that. Okay. Yes, I do like adventures I choose. Sometimes we get adventures we didn't choose, and we might not actually want, but we work with it and we roll with it, right? So going to the beach for me is an adventure any day. So I'm just fussy cutting around, and then I'm going to ink around, and I just sort of get it where it's not like a straight line. I don't mind the curves and all. I just don't want any pointy. Try not to go for any pointy edges. I just try to go around the letters if I can with a curve. And just like that, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just giving it a nice little look. And I just do this, right? I just do that because, you know what? I just don't like the straight edge. If you want the straight edge, go for it. I just don't want the straight edge, and I don't want any pointy ends. So make sure they're like that. You can see how nice that's going to fit in there. We're going to put it down with a dimensional. But first, I'm just going to touch at those edges. Let's see if I can color left from a previous card. I do not. So I am just going to actually use just a little bit of this color right here that I used to stamp this with. So let's do that. Grab that again. And we're just going to lightly do it. Okay. So this is the color I used, right? I'm making sure the dauber, I got a clean dauber. I don't have one that's I used already. If you do, just make sure you clean it, right? So if I do this, you can see how that's going to look, right? And if I just rake it a little, again, I can see I dab it, and I can just go from there, right? So I'm just going to do the edges, right? So if you're not sure, just dab a little, and just gently go across it. You know, a lot of DSP looks like this. I was trying to think of one that recently we used. It was the one from the Lily of the Valley paper. It looks just like this. And it's because it's watercolor, right? They did watercolor paper. I guess when they design it, right? So you're getting the same kind of look and effect. Alright, we're just going to put a couple of dimensionals on the back. Get our seagulls on. And if you have any leftover paper, then put it on the inside. Just gives it a nice extra look if you have the extra left over and you want to use it. So I'm just going to put it right here. I get some bling on here. Let's see, I need one more. I'm trying to see. I'll have to find one more. Well, that one looks like it only has two, but it's like there, and it had one right in here. Alright, I'll have to see if I find another one. If not, I have some somewhere else. Let's get our seagulls on here before I lose them. So actually I did the large one here. I'm going to do the next one. Yes, some people tell you sometimes I'll lift their wings up with a bone folder, because I can. Right? Because I can. Alright, and then we'll be through with this card here, except for if you want to add something on the inside. I don't think I did, because if so, I would have included it in the package, and there wasn't anything in my packet. Yeah. So you can feel free to add some paper on the inside and finish it off when you do your sentiment. So there you go. That finishes this card for us right here. I'll get more bling. I can add one more on there, but that's all I have right now. So that's all I'm going to add. So there you go.